Here we go. Welcome to Brooks, Alberta Cactus Pheasant Classic. I'm here with Pete Stetsky. We're just in the first end. Team Morris versus Team Joanisse, a battle of BC teams. Down to the last couple rocks here in the first end of this B-side matchup. So Team Morris getting hammered due to the draw of the button. And Jimmy Cotter just had a draw to the button with his first one. And a little heavy, leaving that shot for fourth rock thrower Michael Johnson. And looks like the only thing they're going to have here really is the draw to the pin. They're eyeing up the angle, see if there's any sort of double takeout there. I don't know if we can get an overhead shot here, Dan. I think what they're looking at is they might bounce off that red and slide out the side. Two teams you rarely see, both of them, with skips that are throwing third and fourth rock throwers that just do that. So John Morris joining Team Cotter, but ended up skipping and throwing third. And Dean Joanisse, the skip of Team Joanisse, throwing third rocks in that squad as well. To my left in the booth, the infamous Peter Stetsky. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Paul. This is our first ever doing it together, curling after dark episode. Might not be dark where you are, but it is where we are.
Be fairly bright on my mic, a little darker on Pete's. So,
is that due to volume or what's that?
That's probably due to volume, yeah.
Interesting call. Looks like they might try to make an intern play on this with.
Yeah, I think what you'll find.
Not too much weight.
Yeah, no. I think what they're. I think they might smash it actually, Pete.
I would think in order to make it, they would have to smash it to get the action they're looking for.
The only risk may be a steal of one.
Just your way.
Yeah, provided you don't do what Michael Johnson, the fourth thrower for Dean Joanisse, did earlier today, where he fanned an open double with peel weight, where he's trying to hit 2/3 of a stone.
Here we go, last rock here in the first end for Jim Cotter. Trying to manufacture something here with hammer.
Is Jim related to Welcome Back?
Absolutely, same guy.
This is the first look for our broadcasters or for our fans at newly formed Team Morris.
Yeah, hard.
Oh, great call.
Yeah,
Made it look easy.
Went for fun. Jim's a great shot maker, and that was a good example of that. Good call by Johnny, too. Now, we were talking with John before the game, Paul. He's holding a fairly old grudge here against Dean. Says it's a little bit of a grudge match based on a Hamilton Briar incident in 2006.
2006 is right, Hamilton Briar. Yeah, he brought up a game, and I didn't remember it, but John Morris still did, and I guess a game final round matchup, was it? Dean had the single point, went for a circus shot for two, and gave up a steal or something. I think it was to Brad Gushu.
Yeah, he had a chance to knock Gushu down to the 3-4 game, which would have promoted John, at the time playing third for Kevin Martin, to the 1-2 game. And instead, he made what Johnny referred to, I believe, as a bonehead call, and cost him a spot in the 1-2 game. So John's out for vengeance tonight.
And these two teams both playing out of BC now. When I say now, it's because John Morris has traditionally played out of Alberta the last few years with Kevin Martin, the pretty publicized split with that team. And so now on this new team, going with Jim Cotter playing out of Kelowna. And John's going to give him permission to play out of British Columbia. And we'll be battling out there, trying to get to the Olympics, but also trying to get to the Briar and World Championships too if Olympics don't work out.
Yeah, big risk by John leaving Team Martin, but he felt they'd run their course, and he was looking to help them out and himself by moving on to greener pastures. Team Martin, as everyone knows, has picked up David Nedowin. They're off to a great start this year, and John says he's happy with their season so far. It's a little tougher for them because they're brand new coming together, but he says things are starting to progress. He had an unfortunate first-round loss, though.
We haven't played at all.
He did to one of the Korean teams. I think it was 8-1 or whatever. Didn't look close on the scoreboard. We didn't get a chance to watch that.
No, there wasn't enough time. The game was over too fast, really.
So a couple veteran skips here with some younger players trying to lead them to the promised land.
Line's pretty good.
Dean Joanisse is actually a 1989 Canadian junior champion.
Keep it moving, keep it moving.
Heard he's also been a master of the shadow puppets, a sort of a side company he has there in Victoria. People from the 4-foot curling camp will understand that scenario.
You didn't have to put on a mic? No. Same way. Skips.
We're playing around with a different look here at from curlingzone.com. Dan's got a lot of pressure on, our director as of sorts. We have a fairly light crew here in Brooks, Alberta. 7th year for this Cactus Pheasant Classic. $70,000 purse they're playing for here per 24 men's teams. They you build it, they will come. They slide out here 2 hours east of Calgary. All the boys fly in and then get picked up to Calgary Airport by the volunteer committee.
Or Ben Hebert, in my case.
Or Ben Hebert. Benny electing to drive himself.
It's like a 10.
We're now on the other sheet with Team Steve Laycock and their orange jerseys. Oh, we're back to our sheet. Here we go. So we know Dan just well enough that we can make fun of him now. Rick Sawatsky with 2 perfect shots, tossed into the 4-foot. Cullen the comic with his second here in the second end, down 2-0 to Team Morris.
Room. 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 Okay, hard then. Yeah, hard, hard, hard. Real hard.
Trying to create some movement on these red rocks and just create a basket.
Shot.
Great shot.
Yeah, very nice shot. Good separation there.
Johnny not messing around. That 2-point lead, just going to go get rid of that corner guard and put the play back in Team Joanisse's hands.
Johnny featuring some interesting footwear out there. I believe those are green shoes he's wearing.
They're green and gray, actually, Pete. A pair of Nike Free Airs or something they're called. And John felt that one of the most comfortable shoes he's ever worn in his description, so he contacted Balance Plus. And Scott Taylor and the crew there at Balance Plus were able to create him a pair of custom-made curling shoes.
Sounds like how Johnny rolls.
Exactly how Johnny rolls.
Custom-made kind of guy.
Yeah.
Just got an update there, Paul.
Huge update from Lawrence Block, chairman of the Cactus Pheasant Classic for years. Lawrence, looking all of 34 years. Lawrence came up here to let us know that China has laid an early 3-ender on Team Martin to start the game. So we have a big matchup in the other, in another A-side matchup with Team China versus Team Martin.
Yeah,
we are in a B-side here matchup.
Yeah, we just felt it was the most interesting game to show. These two teams are going to battle this year in BC. Johnny's obviously got bad blood that he's carrying from 7 years ago. Guy's a bit of a psycho. And we decided to go to give our audience a new look at this new team with John. That's a huge upset brewing over there, though. Kevin Martin down a 3 spot.
Absolutely. Ty Griffith here with the intern peel. Making it look easy. Great throw by Tyrell.
Line's good.
Dean will continue playing the corner guard game and hoping for a miss.
Yeah. Go, you gotta go, you gotta go.
Don't know if he's going to get too many misses out of Johnny throwing peels.
Second Paul Cheka for Team Joanisse. He is not a comic. Interesting sweeping style.
Line's good.
Yeah, he's obviously not been to my sweeping clinic, I don't think. He doesn't feature the wrap underneath the arm chicken wing style.
I felt every game you played was a sweeping clinic.
You know, they tend to call it a chainsaw for how fast it moves.
This is not hot. Well, if he... An inch of it.
Johnny looking to get aggressive on this peel, maybe, Paul. Maybe try to create something in the house.
Johnny can throw the heat pretty accurately, and you might see him go for the audible here on the double. They want to get the peel for sure, and then if everything's looking good, thin quarter here
We'll be just
would get the skinny double.
Pretty skinny for sure.
Tack!
Come into 3/4, freeze it. Small tap's okay, but nothing too big.
next week, John's off to the pre-trials.
Yeah, they leave Sunday, so they have a practice weekend set up at the Glencoe Club in Calgary. The boys are going to come in and do a little work prior to heading into Kitchener-Waterloo, and then they're off. Yeah, pre-trial starts on the Tuesday, I believe. Practice on Monday, and John and Team Cotter, Team Morris now are all part of a 12-team field, vying for 2 spots. So we'll get into the trials in Winnipeg, the Roar of the Rings, as they call them.
For John, it'd be a bit of a homecoming, as we've discussed on previous broadcasts. A former, alumni of WLU, Wilfrid Laurier University. So John has a lot of support wherever he goes, but sort of a homecoming for him, and I'm sure he'll get tons of support.
Go Hawks.
Love the Hawks.
We failed to mention Paul Moffat in the
yeah,
group.
Paul was never really a very good player, though. It was pretty easy to leave him out.
You know what?
Hope you're tuning in Kitchener, Paul.
You know, at XL Purple Sweater on Twitter. If you have any positive questions, you can send them to @curling_coach.
Paul's another educator,
teacher,
married, kids now.
Mine's good.
Dean Joanisse making a play on the rocks in the middle here. Tap a little bit, you're really good. Still really good.
Good judge, guys. This week.
Yeah, it's a nice shot. He's created an excellent angle there.
His first one.
I tell you, Paul, my first experience with Dean was in 1997 at the Briar. I was there, Freddie fifth man, Freddie Wernick. We spent most of the night with Dean and a couple others, and I got to be honest, Dean never bought around the whole night. So that's
pretty smart.
That's my first memory of Dean.
Well, there you go. I've known Dean actually for years, having worked with Dean at the 4-foot curling camp in Soyuz. 4-foot being run out of BC by the Jackson family. And we spent numerous late nights discussing strategy. John Morris here with his last in the second end with the intern heat, trying to get some action on those yellow ones there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no real choice. That was going to happen, eh?
Pretty much as good as he could have thrown there, yep. Just trying to set up a double for fourth thrower Jim Cotter.
Same line, hey? We're going to need less ice, but same kind of... You like that? Yeah.
So again, Dean skipping this team but throwing third. Same with John Morris, skipping and throwing third. Not too many matchups you see with this type of lineup.
Might be a little stickier here, eh? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, back 8.
Surprised you didn't jump on that.
So you're going to want almost 10 feet more weight then, eh? Hard!
Line's good!
Hard!
Looking to play a similar shot to the one they just threw. Little soft intern draw here. Get a good angle.
Hard! Gotta splash it!
Just team.
Hard! Hard!
It's right here. Line's real good. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Not a bad shot. There's no real danger
That's
here
nice.
for
Good shot.
Cotter, though. He might be able to actually get rid of
You want to
both yellows.
a thick half.
Told him I give him 10 feet more, and I
Yeah,
give
you
him
got to get the
5.
action. So throw peel. Throw peel.
That's from the ice, right?
So we just got some audio difficulties here on the ice. I think you can still hear us at home, so we'll keep talking. Looking for a heat, a virtual meat cannon out of Jim Cotter here. Same sort of action he had on one of his other shots in the first end. So just high side nose, and you'll see the red go out, no choice, and then the yellow that they're going to hit spin across and around the side and slide out by the letter E on your top right.
A little redirection here. Creative shot. Some teams would just try to run yellow on the yellow, but that wouldn't help you at all. Good call here by John.
Hit it. Yeah, a little hit thin, I think.
Yeah, that wasn't easy to do, to leave save his red one.
Extremely hard, actually.
doesn't really benefit him in any way, as Joanisse will just be able to freeze to this stone. Our fourth thrower,
Medium, yeah.
Mr. Johnson, number 69. Might want to clean up his act there a bit, Paul. I don't know that. I think it's a great idea for curlers to be wearing numbers out there. I think he could choose a more tasteful number. There's kids following the broadcast, teenagers. Kids wouldn't really know what's going on.
Really hard!
The lefty.
Hard! Hurry!
Got to stick this for your easy deuce. Looks like he might roll out. Looking for contact. Just makes it. And what would have been looking like a fairly routine deuce, he would have left some sort of double for Jim there, but not the easiest angle. And Jim just got the open hit.
I gotta tell you, if you're gonna have the machismo to put that number on your back, you gotta make some shots.
A little. He could have used a little less, though.
Nice break here for Team
regular,
Morris.
Just regular.
Looking to make this rock go away and
Just regular.
force Johnson to blank the end. Cotter had a really good year last year. The first Grand Slam, he lost the final to Kevin Cooey. I believe he qualified in another slam.
Yeah, they've been pretty consistent. You know, Jim playing a couple of really good skips with Bobby Ursel and also Pat Ryan.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, two legends there.
Pat Ryan's in the crowd this weekend. Is going to be coaching Team Morris at the pretrial. So they brought in one of the legends of the game, but also one of the greatest minds of the game to help guide them through that event. And I think it's a great choice on Team Morris's part.
Yeah, Pat's an interesting guy, as you see the
I'd
flag
like
end
to
there.
get it past this one.
He is an extremely intense individual on the ice, but off the ice he's very laid back. Guy plays in a band, he does Elvis impressions, and I think he will be able to bring that experience to that team. And at the same time, he'll be able to keep them calm and grounded and whatnot. He's an excellent choice as a coach.
All right, let's do it again.
Fine.
They shouldn't have made us blank. We're going to get 3 now.
Oh, it's dead.
So Dean,
We're going to get 3 now. They shouldn't have made us blank.
Dean trying to throw some levity to the game with his youngster team, mentioning they shouldn't have made us blank.
I don't think they made them blank as much as that hitting 1/16 of a rock and rolling out probably had more to do with it. Update there, Nolan Thiessen sitting at home. You must be watching the ball game on mute and listening to us live.
It's up to speed.
St. Louis Cardinals up 1-0 on your Boston Red Sox in the 4th inning.
Yeah.
Long-time lead, Rich Swatsky with his first. Team Morris taking a 2-0 lead into the 3rd end of this 8-end game here in Brooks, Alberta. Paul Webster with Pete Stetsky. Broadcasting live here. We do have a 60-second delay, but I cannot mute out anything that Pete Stetsky says.
It's all part of my contract, Paul.
Okay.
Nice shot there.
So a great shot by Rick to start, and similar start to what we saw last game.
That's not the end of the world.
He called for the corner guard here with Cullen the Comic throwing the out turn.
Key game for these guys. I mean, you never want to start off 0-2 in a Bonspiel, but a spiel that has this much talent at the top, it can be real tough if you dig a hole like this. And probably,
Keep it moving.
certainly Morris would have thought they would have won their first game. And
Yeah.
Joanisse's first game against Laycock, they were in control. They scored a 4-ender in 6 to go up 1, forced, and then had the hammer coming home. But ran into some real trouble early and ended up giving up a steal and losing the game. So this game is critical, both for momentum and it's a pretty big hole to start 0-2.
Yeah, talking about surprises, we mentioned that earlier. Team China had taken 3 on Team Martin to start. They actually stole another 3 and are now up 6-0 against the reigning gold medalist Kevin Martin.
You owe me $20. I think I took Lou in that game.
I'm taking Martin all day.
Yeah. So
You know what? I'll take 10-1 odds actually right now and double in.
double or nothing.
Rich Sawatsky asked for the
That's
little
light.
tap. Not a bad shot. So Dean getting the opportunity now to sort of hit and roll behind his corner.
It
Or
is funny
not.
though. I mean, not a bad shot, but a little bit sloppy, right? He wasn't necessarily trying that. These, as we've talked about, at the highest level,
Just
you need to be a little cleaner than that at Leadstone to line your rocks more properly, or you don't create as much pressure on the other team, I find.
I agree with you. I'm interested to. It's funny. I was just talking to Jules Ochard before the game,
really
and he was making comment how there's numerous teams that are throwing the corner out there, but really not using them. And this is an example of Dean. Like, he could have easily just thrown a out-turn draw behind there, knowing the placement of Morris's rocks weren't good, the greatest, or tried to hit and roll behind there with like backline weight, just to bring the play to the corner.
Yeah, what's the sense in throwing the guard, and then you get an opportunity to use it, and then you ignore it? I mean, it makes no sense, because now John, being who he is, he's going to go up and field this thing. And there's actually not a very good situation like there was last end, where rocks were grouped together to create a pocket for Team Joanisse. It's going to be much harder for them to create a deuce in the rings than it was last end, before their skip nearly flashed his first.
Tyrell Griffith with the out-turn peel, making it look easy. That's all he's done pretty much this game. And then Dean looking to go in the house to manufacture some offense now.
Okay.
Yeah, to go back to your point again, Paul, it really makes no sense to throw the corner guard, and then the one chance you have to use it, they ignore it.
Okay, you want to do one more?
You know, John peeled it. They don't even throw up another one. You wonder why they threw it up in the first place.
And we were saying that we work a lot with our young coaches and so on when they're working with developing teams to almost take a picture after lead rocks. So you've chosen to throw the corner, or sometimes even two corners, and then, you know, take a picture at the end of the end and just see how many times you're using those. Because numerous times, even when we throw a single corner guard, we find 6, 7, 8 rocks later, we haven't used it.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to actually score 2 points using 7 rocks, so we've thrown one virtually away. So Dean opting to replace this one, and just get a little bit deep with Paul Cheka's rock here. Just don't want to leave an easy double on the yellows, but they have. And you'll see the out-turn heat here from Ty Griffith from Kelowna, Alberta. Youngest member of this squad.
Yeah. Get it. That was one, right? Yeah, let's have a real good end here, guys. Yeah, it's a pro. It's off to where the blank.
We're actually getting a little mic feedback from Brendan Botcher, former world junior champion. I think he's got a set of mics on. Tyrell Griffith with this throw. Get out. Great throw by Ty, just got a little bit thin.
Okay, let's go, guys.
And leaving that yellow one in the rings.
Nine, 10.
So Paul Cheka being asked for sort of a backline
Line's
weight
tight.
type shot.
Line's tight. We're good. We're not bad. Yep, hard line, hard. Real hard.
Just trying to move one of those red back and hopefully roll in front of the other.
All right, just clean it, just clean it. Just clean it.
A little heavy. Didn't create the pocket they were hoping.
Just hit and roll in there with.
Still gives them a shot to create a deuce, though.
Yeah, we just got to be roll behind it. I don't think.
Our mics on ice, I think, have some frequency interference through another set of mics.
Yeah, Team Botcher's being coached by Rob Krebs. I know they're all mic'd up because Rob's doing some heavy-duty coaching with them, and it's probably interfering with ours.
I think so, yeah. We'll try to check that out after the game. So Johnny Morris here with some out-turn heat. Not the easiest double, but he's wants to get some action back into the forefoot. Just knowing even if he can bounce that yellow, even roll behind it to make Team Joanisse make a play on the stuff in the forefoot, might give him the option on double and Jim Cotters.
Johnny not taking too much time in the hack. Pretty quick player.
Not as quick as Wayne Madaw.
Are we still talking curling, or what are we doing?
So John just getting a little thin on that one. And,
Still talking about Wayne? Love you, Dad. I'm sure Dad's listening tonight in the harbor.
With a Caesar in hand, getting ready for that big event in Abbotsford next week. So Sportsnet showing one of the first men's slams and women's slams combined event, the Masters of Curling. Going to be shown on Sportsnet next week, but the 6 Canadian trials teams against 10 invited possible Olympic teams, a lot of them guaranteed Olympic teams, from around the world. They're going to be in Abbotsford, British Columbia. Really cool event, sort of a pre-Olympic event where you're going to see a lot of the key players, but the 6 trials teams, men's and women's, will be playing there, and we'll get to see them and see how those teams are faring.
Are we going to be doing any of the broadcasts for that event, Paul?
Chill.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've been waiting for the call from Sportsnet to get on the big, but they got Mike Harris and Richard Hart doing a great job over there.
Chill.
Yeah, they just couldn't meet my number when they called me. I was just a little too pricey for them.
I think what happened, they were surprised when you said free.
Yeah.
Yes. Just put me in, coach.
I will pay.
So Dean Joanisse trying to take advantage of the miss by John Morris. Everything's in the house here too, so they got to be a little careful of rock placement. Both John and Jim are really good hitters, so got to be careful. We saw that in the last couple ends with some big hits.
Yeah, it's a simple out-turn takeout here, but as you say, he's going to be very careful where he leaves his shooter. Very hard to roll anywhere where there's not going to be a double for Johnny.
Oh.
Or a roll.
Oh, off. Yeah, hard.
And there's the double.
That's probably about as simple as it can get for the double, I would say.
We saw this is our third draw of the day here in Brooks, and we saw throughout the day the ice is giving the players a little bit of concern, trying to collectively figure out the ice. It is running a little bit straighter with weight, and then depending on the weight you throw for draws and so on, you will get some finish, but you need to bring the sweepers into it. So it should be getting better. So I know a lot of these players were getting together after the game to figure out how they make more shots, and they'll get better and better each game. And I say straight on hits. And
Good
Johnny
call there. Good call there, Paul.
3 points for John Morris. That is a tough shot to recreate, and I know he'll be disappointed with just how he threw that.
Yeah, that's a huge miss there by Johnny. Not very typical. Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Lots of gimme still.
Still a gimme, but it was a gimme the first time around.
No matter what we do, if we try to change the angle on this, we're going to give you a gimme double.
Talked to John a little in the off season, and I get all the respect in the world for Johnny. I think he's one of the greatest players of all time, and I really admire that he felt they'd come to the end with their team, and he's off to the fresh start, but he is very, very motivated this year. Not only to win a spot out of the pre-trials, but he honestly feels that they will be Canada's representative for the Olympics.
Well, then we split the guard.
And it's that type of belief system that has led Johnny to all of the success he has had in curling. He's had Briar Championships, World Junior Championships.
You still got room.
He will definitely, if he quit today, he would go down as, in the top handful of players to ever play the game, and I wish him all the best.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It was a tough decision for John and Team Martin, but I think you listen to both parties, and it's just one of those separations that had to happen.
Right on the nose, eh?
I think both teams, Team Morris or Team Cotter, but also Team Martin, are better because of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very mature way to go about things.
Mature is the right word. There is no bad blood here. There's no one bad-mouthing anybody behind their back or anything like that. It has been handled very professionally. It's one thing in the ladies' game.
In theory, it should be right.
You don't see that. If somebody gets cut in the ladies curling and all of a sudden there's outcry and whatnot. Jennifer Jones went through it. I know your wife went through it this off season as well. Where the men, they tend to take it for what it is. It's not personal as much as it's curling, and that's the way it goes. And they decided to part ways, and they've really handled it properly.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with both teams, both Morris and Martin now. And again, Johnny's keen. I remember, you talked to him. He's super pumped for this team and the possibilities that they have. And I think the boys have really bought into that. And Team Joanisse being careful not to set up the triple. And they didn't.
That's a good spot.
Really good shot by Dean.
I talked to Benny. These two teams, Team Morris did play Team Martin this year in Saskatchewan, in Saskatoon. And Team Martin won the game, and I talked to Benny after it, and I talked to him yesterday about it. And you know what? You would think he'd be really pumped because you beat your ex-teammate and all that and everything. And he said it was more about being uncomfortable, not wanting to play the game, and he's not looking forward to doing it too many times in the future either, even though they won the game. John's still a very good friend of his. They were arguably the best team of all time, and he said you really take no joy in a victory like that because, you know, he loves Johnny.
And what a lot of people don't know is that John and Ben literally live across the street from each other.
Yeah.
So you need to choke up on your pitching wedge to go from Ben's house to John's house, and it's a pretty unique friendship in that way. And I know they're really good friends still. And both just, again, we talked about maturity and just made a really mature decision to part ways and still enjoy the game. And that's what they really want to do, is just have fun.
And it's not often you'd use Ben Hebert and maturity in the same sentence without immaturity involved. But
no, thinking of it, it's probably the first time.
Nice double take
some
out
bad
there.
editing by Dan. Oh, here we go again.
That's not on Dan.
Yeah.
We're going to blame Jerry. He's not.
Oh, yeah, Jerry Gertz. Sorry, that's not Dan. We haven't used Dan's last name yet. So Jerry Gertz making some ill-advised tactical pushes of the button.
You can follow Dan at Dan on Twitter.
Just at Dan.
You got to find his last name on your own.
Or if you want to check his website, southernalberta.com. Is that right? Yeah, Dan helping provide us some technical prowess here in the booth. It's funny enough, we could be in any family room right now because we're in the back room at the Brooks Curling Club without any knowledge of what's going on the ice, except for the camera that you see at home.
Thanks for the shout out right after I screw up.
Yeah, southernalberta.com. Email them if you have any concerns about the camera work. That's all Dan. Or Jerry Gertz if he's not in the room. So great shot by Jim Cotter.
Clean, yep.
Young Michael Johnson looking to follow that up and try to secure 2 points for his team.
Gotta go hard.
We've seen his rocks overcurl a little bit, and this is not going to be good. Oh, it's going to be grand, actually.
That's going to be excellent,
That is
although
gonna be
very
excellent.
fluky.
Fluky or wily. And you know what? He's too young to be wily.
Yeah, I'm going to go with based on, I've only seen Michael throw, I think, 4 stones. 2 of them were near flashes, so I'm going to say that one is not necessarily planned.
It's interesting. I don't know what the story behind Michael Johnson, but they have him listed on worldcurl.com or curlingzone.com. Born in Winnipeg and residing in Winnipeg. So I don't know if he's recently moved or he's maybe sneakily playing with NBC
or they, you know, these guys might lose their right to complain about Johnny coming over and playing out of BC, maybe.
You could have just told me you wanted to do that.
Michael's got to watch. That first rock of his is overcurled dramatically twice, and it could be, and even in the first end it overcurled a little bit when he was playing a little soft his intern, so he could have a rock that just moves a lot more than the other stones out on the sheet. That's possible. You got to give a guy at his level probably a bit of the benefit of the doubt. Dean Joanisse has not been known to play with people who do not know how to curl, and I'm sure Michael's a very accomplished player.
Yeah, Dean's been to the Briar a few times, and you know, just makes a lot of shots. He's a very consistent curler out of BC, and
he's got a good slide, good form. Dean, he's a very technical player. He's a good shooter. He's been around the game a long time. I believe he is in a very serious relationship with Shannon Alexic.
Dean Joanisse, yeah.
Is it lead stone or second stone for Cheryl Bernard?
She is the lead for Team Bernard.
Yes.
Out of Calgary, Alberta. Shannon Alexic, also one of those players who's you know, playing cross borders and so on.
I find with the Olympics, there's just going to be more and more of that now, the cross-border curling. Like the Alberta B team that represented Saskatchewan at the Briar last year, Brock Virtue.
Interesting, yeah. You talk a lot of teams out there, and they're the first team with 2 players that were approved to play in both provinces. With Brock originally being from Lethbridge and Chris Shilley originally being from Red Deer.
Yeah.
And I use originally loosely.
Yeah, he spent a great deal of time out in Newfoundland when he played with Brad Gushu, although I don't think he's ever been to the province.
I think that year he actually went out there a bit.
For provincials, he had to go outside of that.
Yeah, it is tough. I actually put a lot of, it's tough to make those decisions for those teams. Brock Virtue's team got to, they didn't have a great year on tour last year, but have done, they got to the Brier and made a name for themselves there, and then really fed off that this season. Started off really hot this year, and have beaten almost all the top 5 or 6 teams right now.
Yeah, they've had a great start to this season. I think that the key to their season last year was when Caitlin Laws took over coaching for them in the provincials. They stormed through the provincials on their way to the Brier. Too much talent on that team to have the Cashbill season they had last year. Braid Muscowie, a great player out of Saskatchewan, former Canadian junior champion. Shilly's obviously, he's been on the Brier out of 2 provinces now. And DJ Kidby's got good family roots there, cousin of Ben Hebert. And Brock, I've met him a few times, very laid-back individual, funny guy. Very relaxed. He can really handle the 4th stone without much difficulty with his personality. So,
John Cullen here from Team Joanisse, starting off this 4th end. 2-2 tie here in Brooks, Alberta at the Cactus Pheasant Classic. We'll see Dean put up the center guard here and look for...
Can't hurt it. Can't hurt it. So is that... That wasn't the cutter, though, was it? No.
yeah, I think they're looking at one of the stones they're talking about being a cutter. I've got to assume it's 4th rower Michael Johnson's first rock because it's over curling big time. Sawatsky looking to play the out turn come around here. Very important to keep this rock above the tee line. We haven't talked too much about the 5th player for this Team Morris. Jason Gunlickson had a lot of success starting playing 3rd stone for Reed Carruthers out of Winnipeg. And then he had some success. He played actually skip in the last Olympic trials. And now he's been out in BC for a while playing with Jim, but this year, due to, I think, work commitments, he's had to step back from the game a bit.
Hard line!
Yeah, absolutely.
If we ever have a choice, like on the
Really
his
hard
uncle is
line.
actually Gary Vandenberg, which I didn't know. There's that connection there.
I did not know that either.
And he got a opportunity with, I guess Gary started a new
Hard
company.
line!
And opportunity there to travel a fair bit with work and just couldn't say no. So you might see him at the pre-trials with these guys, or the trials if they make it as 5th player. But
Sit a little bit.
yeah, he opted for the work, and it made that whole rotation thing easy.
Yeah, I got to be honest, I don't know the front end on this team too well. But I thought when Johnny moved over to the squad and when I found out he was throwing 3rd stones, I thought Gunnar at 2nd. He's an amazing hitter. I thought he'd be, and he's got the tools on the soft shots as well, but I thought he'd be an amazing 2nd. And that's not disrespect to Tyrell. Tyrell's probably a great 2nd stone as well. I'm just not as familiar with them because Jason's obviously had more coverage on TV.
Great setup by Rick Sawatsky with his rocks. And now John's opting to sort of draw that open side and try to... They got to get this deep, though.
Yeah, or in the rings.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure the call was not corner guard.
I'm not sure.
We saw that in the Fowler game when they went out wide sort of later in the game, hadn't been there. Robbie came up, 10, 15 feet light on that one draw.
Yeah.
So they got to watch that frost creeping in throughout the game.
It's a big thing you notice, and you being a coach, you'd see it as much as anybody, but when teams practice now, almost everything is thrown towards the 4-foot. Not nearly enough attention's been paid to throwing things off the center line, and then all of a sudden it's the 3rd, 4th end, and you go to throwing off of there, but that ice hasn't been played on yet, so it could be quite a bit heavier. I don't know if that was the case there. It looked like he just might have pulled the string on that one a little bit. Now, Benny, the first comment he made, which was funny, on Twitter, and for those of you who know Benny, he does not mean this seriously. He's throwing a little shot out at Johnny, but when he moved over to play with Cotter, he sent a little tweet out to Johnny and told him he better add 8 to 10 feet on his draws because he no longer has Ben and Mark sweeping for him. Ben obviously doesn't mean that seriously because he's not that kind of guy, but it was a good little shot because they're very well known for how far they can drag a stone.
Big miss there by Paul Cheka, just being called for the outturn freeze and about 5 feet heavy chaps and lies off that one, leaving a fairly easy double, if not hit and roll for Team Morris here.
Yeah, it looks like Johnny's going for the double here, and it might even get a little spin up to lie 2 buried, forcing an out turn or an in turn run through. But even if it's made, there's still going to be the corner guard there for Morris to use. They can make this shot. They're in a real good position to score 2.
The one Mick tapped up before.
Yeah.
Tyrell Griffith, the outturn bomb to get rid of 2 yellows. Looks like he threw it really good. Oh, and the spin up.
Yeah, it's a good shot. Even though he didn't kill that other yellow stone, to lie 2 buried, that's a key there, and that's a good shot. And that yellow's still exposed, Paul. It's not quite buried around that corner.
It's almost better than the straight double and leaving half a rock open the other side.
Yeah, if they ever were to play the run back, you're right. That yellow rock could get in the way. So
We need
Should be good.
Just having the mic difficulties with John's mic here. I think we might just turn him off just to make it clear.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Just working
could.
with Dan here to
We got that.
make sure you have a clear audio at home. We'd love
Can't
to hear
go here,
John
they
Morris
just
and
go
what he
like
has to
this.
say, but I think we're getting some interference from some other frequency here in the club. There we go. And now we have clear audio. Welcome to the Cactus Pheasant Classic.
Hack. Splash off
Bose,
of
if
that.
you're listening, we'd like to be sponsored by you. So realizing that the situation's key here,
I see
Dean,
nothing I like.
Dean
that's
just doesn't
never
like
good.
rock.
That was my entire skipping career right there in a nutshell.
Sorry about that.
We've been
All right,
told
nice to
to
switch it
let
there.
Rob Krebs know that his team's mics are being
That
broadcast on
probably won't
YouTube.
go.
I don't really have any access to Rob right now, so Jerry, you're gonna have to take care of that one on your own, big guy.
He knows.
Also got a question, Rob, coaching.
Intern hit here by Paul Check with his last one.
Yep. Hard! Hard!
Trying to squeak it past that center guard. They gotta go. They gotta go.
No chance.
And they did not
Okay,
go
good sweeping.
hard enough.
Got the guard out of it.
So yeah, not a. I mean, Dean seen the silver lining there. Not a bad miss per se because they got rid of that center guard that they threw that was killing them.
Yeah,
But now they're guarding that yellow one at the back.
That's a huge, not necessarily
It's way
even a
better
break.
than what I
They knew
called
that could happen, so it worked out fairly well for what was essentially a miss.
Dean's a wily vet. He he knows where to put the brush there to make sure there's a good miss. The last thing you want to do is just tick that red one and roll out. So
Yeah,
getting
or
rid of
worse,
that.
just go wide through the whole thing, right? Little victory for the Vancouver Canucks tonight in a shootout. Pretty sad they had to go to a shootout against New Jersey, but a win nevertheless. Looks like they're playing the outturn come around here, Paul, trying to create an angle.
It looks a wee bit fast, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to
Got a
say.
little hop, skip, and a jump from Lead Ritzorowski.
He's got a little
coming
dance
down
move
though.
going.
Yeah. Got to wait for the curl. Well, this looks really good. Look at Tyrell threading the needle here, trying to get a little movement on that yellow, and perfect.
Surprised he didn't sweep that a little bit to keep the angle a little higher, but
Right on
again,
the
John
nose.
Morris knows a lot more than I do, so
That's
there
all we
has to
got,
be
I
a little
think.
method to the madness there.
Triple?
Good. You know what? Why don't we try this and just get rid of all 3?
Why not?
That's probably better, eh? We know he's gonna
2
have an
feet in the
easy-
hack, 2 hands on the rock. You
I'll
make
go
this.
in.
Dean can chuck the bombs here, so
Yeah,
it'll be
let's
fun
do
to
this.
watch.
Yeah, Diener can bring the heat, that's for sure.
Right there.
Interesting slide. Probably one of the only guys you'll see slide with his broom off the ice,
Yeah, I don't know what the advantage is to that.
other than the no broomers.
Yeah, I mean, that was unreal. For those, I mean,
Try
Paul and I,
circle.
and it's not overly interesting, I understand, but we actually played in university with and against guys who their coach thought it was best that they learn to curl without a sliding broom.
No, that was our original thought, but we could
Boom.
actually cross
Did
it
not
in
show
there and
up
get
in the end result at all, but they had very good balance.
One of the best conversations I've ever heard is Pete says to this young fellow, "You will not go on the ice without a broom."
No.
So decide.
No.
And he's a good thrower. And it's just that plan B, having the broom there just in case you need it. A lot of our top players could slide without a broom. And as you watch Dean throw, you'll see he just chooses not to use it. Intern Heat looking for the action on all three here. And he might have it. And he does. Get out.
Wow, just hung on there. Great throw, though, by Dean.
Yeah, a little flopper that was helping Team Joanisse last end. It might help out Team Morris this end get their deuce.
I'm going to give Dean a runner-up in our farthest slider contest that we've been holding next to Mr. Fowler.
Totally. Rob Fowler is, he showed us last time that
he can get down there.
With the slider provided by Ashram Curling. Probably one of the fastest sliders we've seen in the sport.
Very quick, very quick.
The disc slider. Quarter-inch Teflon. The Teflon of choice by a number of our top players.
Surprised how much that moved.
Johnny looking to play the out-turn draw here. Freeze it up. Try to score 2. They get a little break. That little biter they have out in the wing might come back into play. It's funny watching John throw the stone. He's got that similar little pop out that we've noticed out of all of our Grand Slam players in this event.
First game finishing up here in the 4th draw today, or a 3rd draw, I guess. No, 4th draw here in Brooks, Alberta. Team Ryu Louis from China is now online. It says that Kevin Martin has won 7-2, but from the information we had from the broadcast,
hey guys,
people here
I throw a hack
in Brooks,
at that and get
it was
inside.
Team China winning.
Yes. Wow, that's a huge upset there.
Hack, it'll work.
Johnny, a little heavy on that one,
Yeah,
maybe a
he's
little
there.
full. Good chance for Dean to chase him down here and kill this stone.
Is it up yet down the middle?
Definitely Team China coming out with that win. Just went and checked there.
Is it? Oh yeah, it's pretty. It's
I
not
don't think you
edge on
want to
edge,
be
it's close to
Broom
edge
in
on
Benny
edge.
Hebert's hands right now.
Yeah, just. I don't know. Their shot. Can't remember. More. I think we got to throw more like a 3rd. Oh wait.
Discussing the weight here, it was obviously a little more slower coming off the center line, but there's been enough rocks, I believe,
it's
down
made
this
up down
path
this
now
track
that's
now, you
probably
think?
up to speed.
Well, this is a bit different. This is not going outside of the.
Just hack.
Whoa! 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 Off!
I'm assuming the guy in the house is
Right
calling line here
off!
because Dean did not want that, but the big jump out of the
Never.
hand for the sweepers for Team Joanisse.
Yeah, they've left that rock, I think, exposed enough that John can make the double to lie, too.
You can tell just how quick he was out of the house there. That option's definitely available. So you won't see Johnny chucking too much heat here. Probably a control or board weight here, and
Good board, I think.
good board.
I think it'll be good board.
An option to hit too. We saw that one red rock stay in play after Dean tried to play the triple, just hanging on the rings on the far side. So if Johnny can stick in the rings here, he'll be line 2 with only 4 rocks remaining. John Morris, skip of this team, throwing 3rd rocks with his last rock in the 4th end.
It's a hair tight.
And it's curling. I think he's okay. Oh!
Still a good shot.
Just shot, and with a little backing, so the angle's still working out for Team Morris. But Johnny won't be happy they didn't make the double there. Just skinnied that back one.
Yeah, and he's probably left enough room there, I think, Paul, that they can actually chase his rock down and try to, especially with this lefty in-turn coming down. They can
Yeah,
probably
number
get
69.
underneath. Just shameful, really.
Backline hack weight here. With that,
Yeah,
distance,
13.
you could definitely get across there.
You like where my ice was?
More tweets going on, Paul, about the Men of Curling calendar at menofcurling.com. They're running out here. They're selling off the shelves. Found it weird when I checked your gym bag after our last broadcast that you have 5 or 6 in there. It's a little weird.
Well, I'm just trying to get them signed, for members at the club.
Yeah, members at the club.
You know that time where you just get caught? Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's awkward.
Members at the club.
How many listeners have we got, Jerry? Jerry's saying we got about 150 online. Take that, TSN.
That's about 1,000 less than we deserve.
Yeah.
Interesting setup there. He really popped this one back, but with the lefty into it, he should get away with it. Plus, if they haven't figured out a cutter yet.
Clean. Hard. Really hard.
I don't know if the clean was necessary. I probably would have not said clean and continued to sweep
look at this. Sweep that, boys.
Okay.
Tell you one thing, the misses tonight are definitely working out on Team Joanisse's side there.
Good throw.
So here we go. We got a couple. I've been amiss of looking at Twitter. We got a couple tweets. One from Braden Muscowie wondering, Pete, if you could expand on your 97 Brier 5th man experience.
I did. I replied to Braden.
I'd like to hear a little more, though.
I said it was in Calgary, otherwise known as Oil City, and I did a lot of drilling that week.
Any...
Those were pretty much edge on edge, weren't they?
That's great.
That's really the question was asked, and I believe it was answered.
Tell us about that team. Who were you playing with?
I was the 5th player for Eddie Wernick.
Phenomenal.
They actually had an over-under bet on the amount of drilling that would get done that week. Not going to say the over was closed out by Sunday, but it might have been.
Again, I'm Paul Webster, and that is Pete Stesky at XL Purple Sweater.
That was a Brier where Vic Peters went undefeated in the round robin and lost to Kevin Martin in the final. Kevin went on to the Worlds that year, and I think that was probably one of the Worlds he lost. I was with Donnie Walchuk, for sure Don Bartlett.
Got another tweet here from Chris Gardner.
Yeah.
I think he's a huge fan of yours. I'll be watching. Pete talks a big game, but he's really not that good on the mic.
Yeah. We had Gardner in here for one broadcast, and if I get a knife in the stomach for every time he cut me off, I would have died in 2 ends. Would have been, okay if he said anything interesting.
Straight on the nose, eh?
Chris, I'll try to vouch for you. I listened to that broadcast here.
There. I mean, that's the best shot.
I also have proof on my phone of him Facebooking me apologizing for his performance on that broadcast.
We might get a live video feed up in the broadcast booth for the first time this week.
So if Chris wishes to push this too far, we can just go to the evidence.
Yeah, I'm trying to upstage Pete, Chris, but it's been pretty hard, as you know.
It's not easy.
Yeah, the only time I could get a really good dig in is when he left the booth. And it happens every end, pretty much, as he goes.
Yeah, you're right. Up. You get old, that happens.
Well, I mean, that's the best shot if you can make it perfect. The best shot made is
here we have a little Facebook message from Chris Gardner. You got to teach me the secret of better storytelling.
If we roll and concede 2, that's probably a wise play, right? If we hit and roll, see, he's got my room by the garden now because we tipped it. But if we hit and roll in a little bit, he's got the run. I'll just go for the.
So Jimmy, following up the miss by the young fourth rock for Joanisse,
so it's the hair on this side,
hit. And they got some interesting angles here.
So it goes into ours.
Dean trying to take some leadership here and not give up an easy 2, and they got to be really worried if they make a play on these ones that there might be a 3 in play.
Is there any chance our executive producer, Jerry Gertz, could maybe get Ben Hebert? We can bring him out to the booth since his game's over a little early tonight. Get a live interview going.
Oh, would that ever be phenomenal for the broadcasters or the listeners at home? Not the broadcast. I mean, really good for us.
And it'd be an honor for us to sit down with Benny, obviously, but probably after 7-2 shellacking by Team China, not going to be the easiest interview to secure.
I might step out of the room.
Line's good.
So I'm not affiliated with it, but I think you could lead that interview.
Line's good. I'd be willing to do so.
So last rock here for Michael Johnson with Team Joanisse, looking for the outturn
Line's
freeze.
Close. No taps, no bumps, no bumps.
If you bump it, there might be that run back. No, they're good. If you can ever squeak around that, like control weight, can you ever get 2 there? 4-ender might be in play.
You could certainly pick it for 2. I mean, there's no risk in trying to pick that rock for 2, I don't think, because even if you get your back one, you still score 1.
I think they're looking at if they ever get to the inside of this one.
It, they might get 3.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't like that. That's how you give up a steal. Yeah, I mean, the easy play is, like you mentioned, Pete, to make sure you get your 2, to outturn heat, and you pick that one through the hole. But if you can never
go across the top of ours.
I think the fear if they play this outturn shot that they're looking at for 3,
if you go up into
they
there,
have to spring the other yellow one far enough to bring this rock in the wing and play, because otherwise the odds are you're going to clip your back one with that outturn motion.
Straight in through there where the garbage can is.
I
And
think
then go
they're
all
gonna
the
go
way
for
down right.
outturn heat, they can even lose their back one.
I think they will lose the back one, and that's how they're trying to play it for 3.
And then the little biter on our far right-hand side of the screen will be the 3rd point.
I mean, this is pretty precise. They get to squeak by their red one in the full 8-foot here, biting the 4. Or they drop a steal on one, which would not be wouldn't be ideal. But you know what? It's worth the risk in this situation for sure. Only the 4th end.
So here we are in the 4th end. Last rock for Jim Cotter of Team Morris, looking to put a big end up on the board here in the Cactus Pheasant Classic. Got across the center line here. Got to be close. Watch the action on the yellows. And they're just going to get 2. Like you said, Pete, worth the risk. Yeah. Still got a fairly conservative 2 there, but tried it. Nice job for Jim Cotter.
Jimmy makes a lot of shots, and I think he's going to benefit a lot from playing with Johnny.
Well, yeah,
great work by our executive producer there, Jerry. He did ask, unfortunately, Benny has a team dinner they have to go out to. I think they're going to order Chinese food.
Both of Gino's shots were really tough. I mean, we had to try to sliver by the garden as first one. They're both mine, actually. Yeah. We were so close on this first one. Oh yeah, well it actually made a big jump. Like it was really. It's good to escape that.
You got pretty tight to that. It's one end, right? They gotta go. It's every end.
And we're back. 5th end here in the Morris versus Joanisse match. Game we're on the B side in this triple knockout 8 qualifier event here in Brooks, Alberta. 2 of the top teams in British Columbia battling here in Alberta. And John Morris and 4th rock thrower Jim Cotter manufacturing a 2-point score there in the last end. So they get a 2-point advantage going in the last 4 ends. My co-host Pete Stetsky is left for his, I think, 3rd bathroom break of the game. But as we've noted, Pete is getting on in years and has some bladder problems that coincide with age. Ritzawoski with the first shot, throwing into the 4-foot. Making it look easy. We have turned off Team Morris's mics. I've got word that we might be able to turn them on again. So we'll try that and make sure there's not too much interference. So we'll see if we can hear Johnny. Producer Dan is helping us out here. Executive producer Jerry is staring at his laptop behind us. So Cullen the comic, if you watch John Cullen on curlingzone.com, he's got some great pieces with some of our top players in the game. But he also throws lead rocks for Team Joanisse here. And Team Joanisse opting for the well-used single sweeper strategy here in Brooks, Alberta. I'm not sure if it's the water or the smell, but a lot of the boys are taking bathroom breaks during the game.
Room.
There's John Morris, and no interference.
No, it's got a curl.
Other action
Yep,
today in Brooks. We got Steve Laycock with a 1.10 advantage after 4 ends against Siu Kim from
Disaster.
Korea.
That's a disaster.
And as John says, he's not too happy about Rick's shot. Mike McCune
Hey,
is up 3-1 on Brent Pierce after
Throw
5
that three.
ends.
Throw the 3 first.
As we mentioned
Throw the
before,
three
Team
first.
China won 7-2 after 4 ends against Team Martin. A big surprise
Line's
here
good.
to all the
Yeah.
people in Brooks.
Hard. Hard.
Team Martin is, Team Murdoch is up 2-1 on Eskilsson, a junior team, or just a new senior men's team from Sweden. And Lloyd Hill has an early 2-1 advantage over Brendan Botcher. Now back to our game. We've just saw a slight miss by Rick Sawaski creating that pocket. And again, a little miss by John Cullen not taking advantage of the corner guard and just sliding deep.
They must be watching our broadcast, though, because this time they did use the corner guard instead of ignoring their own corner. Paul, how bad were you bad-mouthing me when I left there? Just a little bit?
Pretty deep. Yeah, same
Pretty
line
deep.
though. Like I'm stuck on the whole bladder problem, right?
Pretty soon we're going to get into what type of photographic evidence you must hold over Crystal in order to get her to marry you, buddy. I mean, we're going to have to talk about that at some point. Maybe save it for tomorrow's broadcast.
You might want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I recognize that my wife is quite hot. You know, it's the
Not hard
reason
to
why.
recognize.
It's the reason why I pursued her. Although some would say that she pursued me.
That's how you told it to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't believe it myself, but
I believe you texted me and said, wow, I got the super hot chick. She won't leave me alone. I've tried to ditch her a few times, but I can't get rid of her, and they ended up marrying
You know
her.
what? And finally, just say, okay, let's do this.
She broke you down.
She
broke you
broke
down.
me like a wild horse.
Yes.
Or you're broke.
Paul Cheka trying to make amends for his first miss, and he's thrown it heavier.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best way to make amends. Probably want to keep that one in play.
So John being quick to get rid of this corner now and taking that 2-point advantage and really putting the pressure on Team Joanisse to manufacture their own offense.
Clean.
Ty Griffith throwing his 20th peel of the game. Seems to be that's all he's doing.
All of them with the outturn, basically.
Making it look
as well,
easy.
yeah. Getting bored with it. If he's not, we are.
9-10.
9 or 10 as opposed to the 14 that was thrown on the previous.
You know what?
round.
I gotta defend Paul
Well, it
Cheka
could
here.
be
I
hard to
made
get out.
fun of him because it was actually John Cullen who threw it slightly deep, and then it was
We gotta
Paul
hope for
Cheka
a
who threw it through the roots.
Bounce.
So basically, you're calling them both bad players. What are you doing there?
No,
I think that's a
he
straight
didn't
line.
have a
Just
practice shot.
I
He's
got
actually trying
31.
Trying to bail him out, eh?
to. Man, where's Vic Rudder when you
You
need him? He
front
would have
enders.
totally supported me on
You
that one.
front
Get in
enders
here.
stick together, I'll tell you.
Hard. Hard. Line's great. Hard.
Nice
Paul
look.
Cheka, this is looking really good.
Really
Cheka
hard.
set it right in the middle
Good shot.
there, and
What?
Paul Cheka with a great shot. Now he's
I'm gonna
smashed
throw
that. I think
this.
it goes
I don't know
there.
about
think
easy,
it
but
does
I'm
go.
gonna.
Look closer.
Throw a corner on mine.
I think they just made
Throw one
enough
corner, I guess.
separation there that they can get a little redirection
Yeah,
here
I'll
and
go
get
in
rid of
for-
that yellow
Sort of-
stone.
Yeah, we've seen Johnny struggle a little bit here with his hits today, but I don't think that's going to continue. This is one of those ones you know has hit this with the bomb.
Little trouble with the landing gear sliding out there, Paul. You might have to clean that up at your
Throw a corner.
practice session.
And trying to get a little more than that. Maybe not,
Pretty
because that just
routine
went
shot
easy.
there. Yeah, it was pretty routine.
John, one of the best hitters in the game that we've seen, and makes it look easy again. I talked about practicing with Kevin Cooey at the Glencoe Club there in Calgary. John's also part of our training center there, and it's actually really fun to
Yeah,
watch
corner.
those type of players practice
Right up
because
here,
they're
eh?
still probably shooting 60-65% on those type of shots.
Yeah.
As long as I sort of put the broom in the right place. And even when I don't, they just tell me where I should be. It's You know, you watch those guys play, but you also watch them practice. Amazing how much raw talent those type of players have.
Lots of weight. Lots of weight.
Dean Joanisse, skip of Team Joanisse, throwing third rocks here in the 5th end, trying to manufacture something out of nothing.
Outturn here.
And may just be great for a deuce right now, eh, Paul?
That's good.
No, you need a miss, but I don't think it's going to happen. But Dean just recognizing he's still got to play the rocks, and he'll be going for it back in the 6th. They can get you know, deuce and 6. It evens up the game, and
yeah, they're looking for the 2-1-2 finish here, I think.
yeah, and it's happened a few times in our sport.
Same turn, just go in the rings.
Better slide there by Johnny.
Clean it up. Outturn heat by the Olympic gold medalist, 2010 Olympic gold medalist John Morris. Now with the Cotter boys out of Kelowna, or I guess they're playing out of Vernon actually, it looks like online.
What month is Johnny rocking in the calendar? You should know because you own 6 of them. So
I think he
Might as well go behind
is
the T-line.
December, but I don't.
I believe you're correct.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it's December. I mean, I've memorized that calendar. It's,
Yeah, I know you have.
probably the best thing that happened to curling since you retired from university curling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it odd that you also bought Kleenex with them, but that's up to you. Or were those Scotty's wet wipes, keeping it within the curling family? Scotty's product. Dean's going to throw up another. I don't think he's going to throw the corner. They might throw this one in.
I think he's throwing a corner. You know what? It truly, it doesn't matter where it is. They're looking for a miss, so they might change the look up a little bit just by you know, creating distance.
Is that your way of trying to
Ignore the wet wipes comments.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
probably
so,
better for everybody.
Jimmy Cotter following up third thrower, John Morris. Skip John Morris. I'm just going to check the heat. He'd like to roll out here. Doesn't want to create anything that Team Joanisse can tap or freeze to.
Do we have any updates on how Lecoq is rising in Gatineau?
Oh, yeah. Okay, you got me. So earlier in the day, in the
Gatineau,
Quebec, in the Chalens Chateau Cartier de Gatineau, Team Mark Lecoq from the New Brunswick was playing Brad Jacobs. So if you know Pete Stetsky and listened to his broadcast before, he could not leave that alone, nor should he, based on his reputation.
Yep.
I mean, that's how he that's how he creates his humor. So it's
which obviously you don't find very funny.
but no, I mean, you heard that, eh? So again, Jimmy with the rollout, but exactly what he's looking to do. Dean going for the slightly different look, calling for the outturn, draw to the far wing, and make Jimmy throw the in-turn.
Yeah, good call here. It usually doesn't make much difference, but it's good to switch it up and give the guy a different look here. Hope he rolls out. That way you get a cheaper blank in.
Michael Johnson, originally from Winnipeg, Manitoba, played his junior career there. I don't know why he's in BC, but he is. Playing with these young guys and Dean.
You get a choice of beating Stoughton and McEwen or moving to BC. What are you doing? Right?
Sticking in Calgary.
Ah, boy. That's a good spot to live.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thrown the corner there. I would have tried to go to the rings. I think if he has not switched this stone, which he might not have done, I think he might have a slow cutter there.
A couple feet.
They mentioned the cutter earlier, but that's a pretty big miss. Like, that's the type of one you just want to lob down even in the back 12. I mean, to come up short there. Maybe setting an Irish trap.
What sheet are we on? We're on 4? Sheet 4, yellow. Whatever rock they're playing, those teams that are at home, it looks like it's a slower cutter. We've seen a lot of Michael's shots over curl or come short, so keep that in play. A lot of our teams on tour keep that rock book, event to event, but also historical from club to club, and try to figure out rocks. Because although you might throw them through the order at your home club, you'll see a lot of our top players mixing and matching to try to create a perfect pair.
Rum.
In between ends here, we're going to give some updates from other bonspiels across the country, in particular the Sure Repro Graphics Oil Heritage. Shout out to my 519ers. Heavy favorite in that spiel is Heath McCormick. playing on his home turf, albeit with U.S. teammates.
Too bad.
Oh, he's got his team there for the Sarnia Spiel.
Yes.
Getting ready for the U.S. Olympic trials.
Yeah, coming off a runner-up finish in Stroud, lost the final to Greg Balston. Greg's a great player, plays about 200 games a year, plays in anything. Plays in club, plays in the Dominion, the mixed, defending mixed champion, actually, nationally.
Whoa, off.
No update. They don't necessarily have the internet in Sarnia, so we're not sure if we're going to be able to get current updates.
It's still a dial-up connection, I believe, in Sarnia.
It is, yeah. Dial 1.
Anybody got to go pee? Anybody got to go pee?
Anybody got to go
Coming this way, though.
pee? Did we just hear that?
We did, actually. You know,
like
Dean Joanisse being the older father figure on the team.
No matter what, eh?
In men's curling, would you not say, does anyone have to take a rhymes with whis? Like, come on. Like, really? Pee? Is he going to sit down and do it, or what's he doing? Are we standing up for this? What are we doing? Give us some feedback on Twitter there for all you men out there. Do you tend to do it standing up or sitting down? Like a lady. Curling After Dark here live with my co-host, Paul Webster, Peter Stesky, XL Purple Sweater. Please send us your comments. If it's hate mail, send it to Jerry Gertz. He's responsible for all of this.
Line.
Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that.
Did we get an update on the draw there in Sarnia?
Sarnia is lacking internet right now or a score.
That's
Rich Sawatsky looking to
I
throw
wanna
this
say
in the
back
4-foot,
12.
but
just top 12,
looking
top
like
4.
back 12. I think it's going.
It's not a great result. That's one saw spiel. John Doan's skipping in the Sarnia event. I don't know how that can be on tour. That guy's 6'5" foot of red hair, white skin, and if he goes out in the sun, he disappears. Just saying.
Okay, so if you're joining us or just recently joining us, Team Morse versus Team Joanisse in the 6th end. 8-end games here in Brooks, Alberta at the Cactus Pheasant Classic. Been a few big shots here, but it's more of the story of key misses. Teams are probably shooting in the 70-80 range, but there's been a few big misses to create some opportunities for the other squad.
Line's nice, just clean it.
Yeah, you know, if this is a Briar game from last year, both teams would be in the low 90s based on their scoring. I'm going to rank them somewhere in the high 70s, Paul? Oops. Silence. It's probably the best move given your job situation, Paul.
Well, we've always recognized that the national events have some slightly different stats. What we need to recognize is that it is a volunteer position to do those statistics, Peter.
It's true.
And
we should start scoring these games, actually, when we do the broadcast.
I will leave that. I have a mouse in my hand right now, and I have to press next player after every shot, and that's taken a lot of stress on my life already.
Yeah, so I'll take care of the scoring.
Okay, you do all the stats, yeah. You know, it'd be a good question about what Jerry Gertz is doing in the background. So, I mean, if he could ever do stats in these games, it'd be phenomenal for us. Add that extra depth that Linda Moore always has access to at the CCA events.
Yeah, and you know, that's probably what's keeping us from doing curling at the higher level. Those are not good lead stones there thrown by Mr. Sawatsky. Both in the back of the ring.
Yes.
Those are actually friends now of Team Joanisse. They're going to whip one around the corner here. Johnny's going to peel he's put his team in a real hole here with the start of this end.
Yeah, I mean, we went back in our first broadcast about the importance of leads, and Ben Hebert, although he provides numerous great quotes, one of the best quotes he's had about leads is that he recognized the fact that he can't win an end, but he can definitely lose an end. And this is one of those ends where I know Rick will be the first to recognize it and say that he totally screwed it up and brought the power over to the Chinese team here. So.
Yeah, Rick's an experienced player. He knows he's made a mistake here, but he'll try to do his best to sweep his way out of it. That's the only choice you have now.
How much you got? Okay, just board.
So one of those if-end shots, so they're trying to go for the one in the house, but Johnny will make sure the ice is tight enough that if it does slightly overcurl to get the guard, the last thing you want to do is flash everything here.
Now, you grew up in Peterborough.
I did.
Do you know a gentleman by the name of Andy Hick?
Andy Hick, great thrower, now living in Manitoba now?
Yeah, Manitoba, married Rob Meekin's sister. Happily married for quite a few years. He used to play second for me. And on a shot like this, you'd take an insurance policy out on the guard. He wasn't even chasing that back rock. He's going safety all the way.
So trying to get a piece here. Great weight call by John. Made sure they got the rock in the curl. But again, just another rock in the back of the house that can only help Team Joanisse later this end.
Wow, we just got an update there from Jerry that Ty DeLello has informed Jerry that he does pee sitting down. He also plays lead in mixed. And I don't even want to tell you what his wife does to him on Friday nights.
Line's good.
Wow.
Yep. Hard.
Intern come around.
Whoa. Whoa.
Or crash.
It's picked,
We're
guys.
second on Paul.
Picked early, actually.
Paul checking, so they're calling a pick here.
Really no choice but to call that a pick with the result. I mean,
Throw this hard, Ty. Might get through the hole or something.
or something. I love
Good
the
feel.
technical term there, or something.
So intern double peel here for Tyrell Griffith. Be interesting the angles on what happens in the back of the rings here.
This is his, 11th or 12th shot of the game, probably his 9th peel.
Yeah, Johnny's playing fairly defensive here, but has had a 2-point advantage a lot of the game.
No.
Might get a little, that's still a good shot to get rid of both guards. Keep spinning, they can be shot rock, maybe light too.
Yeah, it's a great shot by Ty.
That's a very
Wow,
good
is
shot.
that ever lively? Stop.
We've heard that in the last game, just about the lively rocks,
throw,
and
man.
I think the guys are seeing that here, remembering
Got
it,
a little
because a lot of them played
wall of
here.
China back here.
Now, is that a condition? Is
Right
that
now.
due to the stones being fairly recently purchased? Is that a product of that, or is it more just to do with the striking bands themselves?
Yeah, but I would say all of that, really.
Yeah.
So because they're newer stones, the striking
nice.
bands would be pretty thick, and then just have a lot of contact too. So,
And I could blast it up.
and you've heard that a couple times today from the
Line's
skips there,
tight.
Mike, that they were
Hard
surprised
line.
over how much action they got off the stones.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Line's
that's
tight.
mentioned numerous times.
Last
Thought it
second
was
stone for Team
Just
Joanisse
clean it.
here.
Supposed to be a guard, just
Okay.
going to over curl a hair. That being said, I mean, even if Team Morris makes a play on this rock in
just
the
try to
back 8, back 12
kill
foot, there's
everything.
just a wall back there.
So like put a rock and just. Yeah.
John looking to do a lot of damage here, by the
Snug on
sounds of
that
it.
one.
Another option is just to peel that guard.
I guess they're worried about like he called the wall of China.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
big
back there. So they're more concerned about all those
just be
backing
drawn
rocks than
T1.
Do you
anything
think he
that's
was
in front.
maybe taking a shot at his former
higher
teammates and the result of their game there? That's hard to say. Might be reading too much into
Yeah,
that.
well, I think when you see a large wall of granite made of, stone, Pete, a lot of people refer to that as the wall of China, but I don't think he has any bad feelings that he wants to throw on air against his former team. But John Morris with the outturned peel, looking to remove everything at the back of the rings he was talking about,
That's a great shot.
and gets 3 of the 4 stones that were back there.
Still looking at giving up the deuce
Hoping to
though
snare
now.
this
I mean,
back
I don't know if that created more of an advantage than just peeling the guard would have really. I mean,
It's hoping.
nice come around here by
Thought I hit
Dean,
it.
and they're still set up for
Quarter
the
rock.
2. That being said, a great shot by John.
Yeah,
Fully
nutted on
executed
it.
what he was
Yeah,
looking
Colin,
for.
aggressive ice. You guys
Colin
like it?
made, and
Yeah.
he was hoping to get that other one too. But you can argue the merits of calling that, and not getting rid of the corner. But we'll see. What he's going to have to
You're
do is
also really
chase
tight on
this
that one.
rock by Dean now.
Like your last one you just threw? Oh, okay. Yeah. I just think if we take the other side of center, we're just maybe going to bury half a stone. Sliver more. Same stuff.
Just got a text from Benny. He apologized he wasn't able to come up and join us tonight. They're going out for a team dinner.
Hard line. Hard line.
It's funny. Dean's yelling hard line. John's yelling curl.
Ooh, we
We
gotta
do
go.
have
Come
Mike.
around now.
That's a big miss there.
Close.
might take the deuce out of play and actually really creates an absolute force situation, if not a steal opportunity here.
Right there.
Yeah, 100%. Again, just knowing where the guards are, I'd go with you on the force. I'm not sure about the steal unless there is a miss.
Yeah,
I mean, the 4-foot's going to be open.
I agree. Yeah.
The only thing that's going to hurt is that we don't want to be past the 4-footer at all.
I didn't either. I thought I was a hair full.
8 foot, 2/3 buried.
Grab one for you too. You want?
It would have
Speed's
been
good here, eh, boys? It's right up. I think I'm looking for an 85.
in there. I'm not weight.
85 returning to a split time. John still uses those for sure.
That it curls so much.
It's pretty funny. A guy his caliber limits it to those 2 digits, though. He should be throwing like 8.47,
Line's good,
2.6 here at his level.
Or 2.5.
Look.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be that precise. That's how you coach,
light.
Paul. I know that.
Wait only.
So out-turn draw here for John Morris, his last rock of the 6th end. Looking to put the force on to Team Joanisse. Trying to get this in the top 8 foot, just biting the 4 if they can.
Great scrub. Great scrub, boys.
And in a good enough spot that Dean's going to have to go wider around that one now to the 4 foot. Fully buried. Great shot by John Morris.
Yeah.
It's good enough so now
We're gonna get
with
buried.
a jam, it's still shot.
It's the 6th end, eh? I was thinking running it through and try to nut it.
So we'll listen in to Dean Joanisse here as he walks through his options.
You guys like that?
Recognizing
Well,
it's the
odds
6th
are
end,
we're
they
not
want to
burying
score
here.
here.
If we nut it, or if we get it this
Over
way and
buried
get
by-
that, it's not bad.
It's a nice come around by John. They probably wanted that, Paul. Maybe a rock and a half deeper to prevent the loop around the
hold
whole
back
thing,
there.
but still a very good shot.
I think the biggest thing on this ice is just getting it fully buried. I think they're pumped that they can't get a piece of it.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy to do, as we've seen. John also, with all his experience and playing on numerous different ice conditions, he knows how to sort of manipulate a stone to get that
especially that
extra
spot.
bit of curl. They've decided to go with the run back, it looks like.
I think this is an out-turn, but it could be an in-turn on this ice. Looks like an in-turn right now. So in-turn run back.
This is a spot we've seen, Paul, where it runs super straight. I don't think we've never seen anybody over curl here. Almost all the shots been
Little
missed
body
wide.
action by Dean Joanisse. A little inside-out throw here. You might see him get the high side of this rock because of
We got
that.
another wide one here. It's just shot after shot, game after game. That's what we're seeing there.
You can see, though, I don't think Dean liked that slide. We don't see his body twist that much when he's throwing straight, so I think
we
he
do
thought he was
this,
a
don't
little
we?
inside there and tried to get it out. But
He is an
Yeah.
extremely
Just don't want to give him the triple, so
good slider.
let him
he's
freeze. Right?
technically, he can throw his
Yeah,
stone,
we can
for
blast.
sure. That one they
But
get a
I think we
little.
go.
I
We
believe
just don't
they
want to give
call
him
it
the
a
hit and roll
speed
or the
wobble.
triple.
Little
So I think
body
we go.
English
Tell the
to
boys
get that
back
out
4. And the speed should be pretty good here, Jimmy.
Johnny giving a ton of positive feedback
Back
to his
four,
fourth
SWAT.
thrower there.
Jim getting some feedback on speed from his team. After a miss by Skip Dean Joanisse, 4th rock thrower here, Jim Cotter for Team Morris, looking to put some pressure on the other team. With a 4-2 lead here going into the 6th end, Team Morris has a great opportunity to, even possibly look at a steal here and get up to 5-2.
Looks a little light, boys. Line's good. Looks real hard.
Just heard back from Benny. Looks like they might go to
Looks
a
real light,
drive-through
boys,
tonight
hard.
for dinner.
Well, that'd be great, eh? A lot of great food
Wait,
options here in
split
Brooks,
it.
Alberta.
Whoa.
You can't ask for
Split it.
fresher
Whoa.
beef.
Last night, Benny and I crushed a couple
Yep.
Baconators.
Yep.
Nice.
Just demolished them. Ordered just in time because a 400-pound gentleman followed us in the line, and his order was everything.
Well, there's 2 shots we can play. I like this. There's enough movement there.
Yeah, I was sort of glad we had a draw here.
Gonna play the come around, get aggressive.
It's
I
not
like this
lightning.
call. I mean, they're 4-1 anyway.
Like
Might as
it's-
well gamble and try to score here too.
And it looked
Be a nice
it looked
draw
like
here out
from-
of Mr. Johnson.
wasn't a positive.
As long as it's in a great spot, you need room for 2 rocks here. So the one thing you don't want to do is just put this behind the tee line and give Jimmy the opportunity to freeze on top, and now you might look at a force.
And you do have to get it behind the tee just to create the space so Jimmy makes that run back for fun. So you're right. You want this. You certainly need to make room.
Low 80s. Then you threw 97. It was like, and it didn't make that. So I think 90 is what you want to aim for.
Line's good. Room.
That's what I would.
And then draw the butt 95 spots.
Room. Easy. Stay with it.
So they can finish this. He's got a great shot. As long as they stay full 8.
Late finish on his stones. It's a good shot.
Perfect shot.
That
forces Jim now to make a nice freeze.
Nice throw.
And then he'll throw the same shot for 1 and go to the 7th end, down 1.
Great toss by Michael Johnson. Great call by Dean Joanisse. And
Back
again,
4,
just trying to
boys.
make it, the only chance they had of getting 2 is to make that shot and then hope for a miss from Jim Cotter.
back 4.
Yeah, once they missed that one come around, they were hoping to, begging for a little bit for a miss here, and this is their last opportunity to get one.
Slide him out the same way.
Being the shooter he is, I expect Jim to make this one pretty easily.
Yeah.
Probably just jinxed him though.
Kind of slid wide on that.
Line's good.
He kind of slid wide and then started it.
Dean thinking Jimmy might have slid wide and started this
Where is
one.
it? Switch.
Rockpath is saying something
Needs the
different.
curl.
So actually needs to curl a bit here.
Needs the curl, SWAT.
Pretty good
Freeze
line
it.
if they can
Yeah,
really
hard,
work hard in the
hard,
last
hard,
few feet
hard.
here.
Go.
Really gotta go.
And there is a
Nose,
possible shot for 2 here for
This way
Team
here?
Joanisse.
There's good news and bad news there. The bad news is there's a shot for 2. The good news is if he misses it, you'll probably steal one. If he tries that hard to make it.
And there's 2
he
misses
brings
here.
it.
You can tick that
Here
top
right now.
one
I
or
can
just
tell him-
jam it
I
into
can-
the back and roll off.
Yeah,
Well, if it
looking for
hangs
the-
out, we get 1.
Yeah.
If it hangs out, you get 1. Is
I
not
don't
a
think
call
we can't
you
do
make
that.
at
We
this
don't have
level.
enough rings.
You're either playing the shot for 2 or you're not. Very easy for
We
me
need
to
to
say
make
that
sure we
back
score
here. I
here, though,
understand
right?
that,
We
but
wanna
you
get it out.
really
So-
you have to
'Cause you
commit
can
to
tell
making
that-
the shot for 2 if
especially
you're going to
with-
play.
Yeah, let's play back 12.
Starting to get flat.
You got 88.
That looked like a nice solid throw from here. The first one you could tell maybe was a little light. That one looked nice. Yeah. Getting a little soft.
Like you coach at the highest level, Paul, did you not agree when you're throwing a shot like this, and it's a very, very difficult shot, but you have to commit to the shot you're playing. You can't have 2 results in your head.
Totally agree. Yeah, I mean the person in the house needs to recognize what the options are in Plan B, but you don't want to, you want to set the person up just prior to them going down and shooting, saying it's okay if. And we got to talk about the pro side misses and stuff, but the player in the hack's got to commit to the weight and the shot that we're trying to make.
Yes.
Last shot of the 6th end. Michael Johnson trying to make the shot for 2. In turn, back house weight tap back for 2 points to tie this game up.
Go! Really gotta go!
And it is
Really
over
gotta
early.
go! Hard.
Yeah, just
Trying for the audible.
light as much
Right,
as anything,
try it.
really.
Yeah, absolutely. So 1 steal, a key steal here for Team Morris, taking a 5-2 advantage going into the last 2 ends. And I think, Joanisse team will look at that as a key, almost the TSN turning point. Do we have that here?
We'll call it the curling after the CAD turning point, sponsored by Budweiser.
CAD.
King of beers.
Which
Actually
turn you
tastes
want?
horrible unless it's really, really
Wait,
cold,
no,
but
let's
there's not
take
many
it into the
options out
back. That
here.
outturn on this side.
That's fair. Gonna have to write it into our contract next year, Paul, maybe to get some Heineken brought out here.
Oh, button, eh? Even if we're back 4.
I like your style, Pete Stetsky. Never did, but I don't mind it now.
You loved it back in uni, buddy. You loved it.
So we promise after we've done 6 games together, Pete and I'll try to not talk about our prowess back in university curling.
But we have very, very little positive to say about ourselves if it's not about that.
It's true.
Basically, we've gone 27 years, 28 years, and accomplished nothing else. So what else are we going to talk about?
Yeah, well, it's true.
I mean, we talked about, I made a joke earlier, like you married
super hot wife, Crystal,
Super hot.
and I'm not married, I might be winning there.
I don't know where you got the win on that one.
I didn't. I got it awarded to me by ice maker Roy Grossfield because I'm not married. I'm not tied down. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be tied down with your wife.
It's something I proposed before too. Not you though.
That was your get out of jail free card there, Paul.
Yep.
Crystal, if you're listening.
You know what? She just landed in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I know.
Paul did get his photo taken in Vancouver at the Olympics too. Kind of a famous front page photo.
Yeah, we Jerry Gertz in the background. Part of my role in curling, I work with the Canadian Curling Association as a coach and at different events. I've had the opportunity to go to 2 Olympics now and getting ready for my 3rd. This time as a team leader. Really cool opportunity.
Underselling it a little bit there. You are coaching for Canada, basically at the highest level that you can. Working with all the top teams, going to the Olympics, look at your day in, day out, you're working with the likes of John Morris, Ben Hebert, Team Cooey, your wife's team. That junior team, is it Jocelyn Peterman?
Peterman, yeah.
Yeah, I met one of their players yesterday, former Canadian junior champions. So Paul is actually, he is the man when it comes to coaching and curling. Gets to work a lot with one of my idols, Rick Lang, and Jim Waite, Jerry Peckham, all great people. Plus he married Crystal. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good life. Great kids.
Line's good.
Great kids.
Line's good.
Yeah, we have 2 kids in curling now, our 4 and 6-year-olds. Both girls are.
What was your one daughter's quote when you were coming to pick me up last year? You're going to pick me up at the hotel to drive me up to the Red Deer Bonspiel, and she said, "Daddy, when we pick up your friend Pete, I'm going to be pretty shy."
Yeah, I'm getting pretty shy.
You know, she's already 3 years old and she's figured me out.
Yeah, I was trying to walk her through. You know, you don't want to talk a lot to Pete. This Pete guy.
Do not make eye contact.
Yeah.
Orgo here.
Back to our game.
Just got a quote from my mother-in-law, Sheila, saying Crystal may not be listening, but I am.
Hi, Mom.
This is from the lady that at our wedding. She took the mic with her husband Butch to welcome me to the family, and says, I would just like to welcome Kevin to the family. Kevin's my twin brother.
There you go.
Yeah, a little slip of the unconscious there by the mother-in-law. She quickly regrouped and remembered my name was Paul.
Maybe she's having a few Budweiser tonight.
No, she wouldn't have Budweiser. She'd be having a whiskey or two.
A little whiskey?
Yeah, she loves her whiskey. So, pretty typical end here with the lead, John Morris opting to throw a couple in the rings. Team Joanisse opting to throw the double corners. They have left some angles there, so option to John Morris to look at the double peel. With another peel for Tyrell Griffith.
Yeah, that's all we say.
And they are going for the double. Intern heat by Ty. He's really been working on this skill set in the training camps and stuff. And with the camera angle, we totally can't see what happened there.
It's something that's it looks like it picked there. Johnny's just scraping something off the ice there. I think it picked. Dan just gave Paul the finger, and it was justified. Sticking up for my producer here.
Dan, our producer.
Off air, we can
deal with him.
Carve him behind his back.
Yeah, totally. I think we carve him in front, actually. Dan just getting a sense of curling. We taught him what an intern versus outturn was prior to the broadcast.
Line's good.
I taught you in 1995, so.
Yeah, well.
Actually, that's not true. You won your Canadian junior. You played in your Canadian junior.
Hard. Really hard.
I'm looking to move these rocks around. Here, try to create an angle.
My mother-in-law texting me, careful.
Careful?
Careful. Well, I have to give a significant shout-out to Sheila Rumberg, my mother-in-law, because knowing that I had to get into Brooks here, and Crystal's off to Winnipeg, she offered to head into Calgary for us and watch the girls for a couple days.
Little babysitting?
We call it grandparenting.
Grandparenting,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She's been phenomenal. I think we've seen her more this year than ever with all the stuff going on.
Just let her know that I spell careful with a K, so
Yeah, nice. I like
you know.
that.
Just
Okay, back to the game here.
Sort of a little break in the game here. Not sure what they're going to do.
Couple misses back to back. Ty got a little unfortunate pick on his double peel, left that red guard that we saw up front, and then Paul Checo trying to bounce those off, bounce into the middle, so there's a fairly open.
Yeah, he didn't really create much of a pocket, nor did he bury his stone or provide any backing, but.
An outturn hit for Tyrell Griffith. Look like he's chucking the gun. Probably looking to lose the back red one if they
Popped
can.
that one big time. Really, that's going backwards the whole way, but it's going to work out fine. Looking to play the same shot here, just trying to create a pocket.
11.
This side.
11.
Form a freeze on these two redstones, spread them out a little bit.
Yeah, Dean just recognized he does have guards in play, but they're not in the greatest spots.
No, I think he does need to deal with these rocks in the rings.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Easy.
Paul Checo with his second opportunity to make a play on these rocks.
Way out.
He's done the overcorrect here. A lot more weight and a lot less curl. One of my favorite things to do on the ice or on the golf course.
I think we tried, eh?
I think Johnny's looking at the slash. I think it's an excellent call.
More variety to this end, eh?
Although at the same time, you're still going to leave a corner guard. Johnny's playing at his best. He loves a shot like this. The more difficult, the better. Takes it on, goes down there, whips it down there, and then waves to the crowd.
I would bet that he makes this one.
I wouldn't bet against him. I found when it comes to life, you don't want to bet against John Morris in a variety of situations. Curling is one of them. Also, at the bar, you don't want to bet against him. Apparently,
little in out.
2 cheerleaders is easy.
He does anything here, he's made it.
Horrific sweeping call.
Just a missed line call by Jim Cotter in the house there. And,
like not once did they lay a brush to that.
I don't think so. I think they're a little concerned about just the path there.
Yeah, it was a great throw by Johnny. Executed perfect. He needed 2 licks and he would have killed it. But
was that the
looking good now for a potential deuce for Joanisse if they can create some proper separation here.
It wasn't quite that wide out though, was it? Side you like there.
Hold us in.
We're still getting some interference with Johnny's mic there, so it's a little choppy. I'm not sure where, because the other team that had some mics out there turned them off. So we're not sure where that's coming from, but we'll try to keep that on and see whatever we can listen from.
Sliding the same here, a bit thicker.
Dean Joanisse here in the 7th end of this 8-end game. Down 3 points to Team Morris. Trying to manufacture some points here with his
I know, he was light though, wasn't he?
first rock of this end. Dean throws third, but skips this team.
Nice to see Laura Crocker tuning in on Twitter there.
Oh, Laura Crocker, welcome to the game.
As I professed my love to her earlier on Twitter.
Go Hawks.
As a Laurier alumni. Nothing more sinister than that.
We wish Laura and the gang, much luck. I don't think they need luck. They just need to play their game. And they'll do really well at the World Championships.
I think all those games should be televised, including post-game. Dressing room. Shower.
Great shot by Dean. Doesn't get fully buried there, but does the job lying second and third.
That's all he's hoping for there, really. I mean, end sort of plays itself out from here. They will try to avoid setting up a double, and Team Morris will try to create a double and hope they can get out of here with a fourth.
We'd be remiss to not mention that Laura's team, not only are they playing in the World University Championships this year, but they're also playing in the pre-trials.
Yeah.
A young squad qualifying for pre-trials just gives a lot of support to the, you know, how young they are, but how talented they are.
Yeah, I mean, they're going into that pre-trials. I would say they're one of the favorites as well. Erin Carmody's had obviously success losing the Scott Tournament of Hearts final to Jennifer Jones, and she's in new at third. They have two different teams, one for the pre-trials and one for the World Universities, but both teams are very, very accomplished, and I would say they're the favorite in the university, and I would put money on them to have a very good chance of coming out of that pre-trials as well.
The key thing with any Canadian team at the World Championship, you know, they go in there with a little bit of inherent pressure, but they also go in against a lot of teams that have been there numerous times.
Oh, yeah.
These teams, I think, you know, some of the Russian girls have been to the World University Championships 3 times. And, you know, it's just that comfort factor of being at a World Championship, not being stressed about representing your country for the first time. So if I'm a betting man, I'm putting money on Laura for sure, but it's, you know, just getting used to that World Championship experience, that sometimes those less talented teams just feel comfortable in that environment.
Yeah, there's always the additional pressure of carrying the Canadian flag. The good thing for Laura is having curled in the World Junior with, I believe they lost the final with Rachel Holman to Team Sweden. So Laura, she'll know how to handle it, and she'll be able to hopefully help her team through that situation. Also can probably rely on Mosk a little bit. I mean, her boyfriend,
Did you say rely on Mosk?
I mean, that's something that you probably wouldn't use in a sentence too often unless you're looking for the guy to get you a beer. But he has been to the Worlds himself, and he's had to put up with that pressure, so I'm sure he'll be able to help. Colin Hodgson will be of no help whatsoever to Jen Gates. I mean, I don't even know what Jen, we've talked about it numerous times. Wow. She's got to get some self-esteem. Hachi, if you're listening, that was Paul's microphone.
With Pete's voice.
With my voice. Yeah. It's a weird thing that Dan can do.
Good old Dan. SouthernAlberta.com. Dan is our man in the booth here, making sure that any technical difficulties are his fault.
You know I love you, Haji.
So last stone or fourth rock stone for Jim Cotter here. Looking for a little hit and roll. They want to roll across, but it looks like they're going to stick there.
Fourth rock stone, that's something you didn't have to say back in the day.
I want to say skip stone, but you can't.
And I in this situation, I've talked about this going back to the Furby days, because they were obviously the first mega high-profile team to do it. But I feel Dave Nettowin's been robbed a little bit of his curling legacy because they won all those Briars. And I mean, Furby is amazing. And I used to joke around about strike years and asterisks and all. Randy Furby is one of the greatest players of all time. He was before he played with Dave. He was when he played with Dave.
Just we go this way.
But
it's too cute because we're just
David Nettowin throwing skip rocks, I think it's much harder to find a guy who can execute 4 stones than it is someone to call the game. And I think Ferb will go down with a lot of credit for those Briars, as he deserves. But I think David's been robbed a little bit of some of his credit, because Dave is one of the greatest fourth stone throwers of all time.
Yeah, just absolutely. He made so many clutch shots, right?
His ability to throw soft weight is off the charts. Whether it be draw, hack, board, he's not the best, or his forte is not the big, high, hard one, but he never put himself in those positions. And if he had to, he could make those shots for sure. But he is one of the best touch players of all time. And to think he started out throwing second stone or third stone for Arnold last year.
Off.
Out-turn double takeout here from Michael Johnson. His first here.
Wow. That curls another foot. It's close. Another foot. Peel, it would have been fine.
Same weight.
Bad.
So opportunity lost here for Team Joanisse. Really routine.
Backed up a little, eh?
Double takeout for them. Lie two. Just throw that a little bit too straight.
It was a half-decent throw.
Jim Cotter being asked from Skip John Morris here just to nose hit this one. Leave a really tough angle for Team Joanisse to deal with. Again, we're here in Brooks, Alberta for the Cactus Pheasant Classic. Paul Webster sitting in with Pete Stetsky. Pete, a legend in his own mind. Outturn, nose hit takeout here for Jim Cotter to finish off this 7th end for Team Morris. Really don't want to roll anywhere here. And a perfect shot.
And I got to tickle it first.
Paul, we got an interesting tweet in from one of our viewers here.
I don't know that we're going to be throwing like big weight here though, because
Well, maybe listen to this first, and then we'll address it after that.
Listen, splitting hairs there.
It's like regular.
Listen in here, see what the boys are thinking.
What turn do you want? It's better to take your in. Yeah.
Just a simple. He's looking skinny double here. Is that what we're doing?
I think, you know what, they just recognize that Team Morris is playing pretty well right now, and it's taking a simple 1 here and giving them a 2-point advantage with hammer is probably not worth it.
No.
So I honestly, I agree with Dean here. I think it's
You have to play.
holy Jesus, Dan. It's almost
Dan's
worth it.
loving me. I don't give Dan any grief. We're going out for beers later, Dan. It's fine.
Yep. Hard. 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 Whoa.
Way
Whoa.
over.
Skinny, skinny double. Does he got it?
Way over the top.
Oh!
No
Stick.
good.
Nice shot.
Good try.
One.
Great throw.
Good throw. Not much more you can do on that.
I'm not sure who this handle is. It might be Netawin himself. But do you think Team Martin should have Kevin
What's that?
call the game and have Netawin throw the last shots?
Yeah. I hope you start to learn that real soon.
Paul?
It's pretty easy to steal too.
Great question. Honestly, phenomenal question.
shot.
We don't want to back
I think
line
what you
because-
have, the question deviates
So, just like-
arises from the fact you have 2 of the best last rock throwers in the game in the last 10 years. I think what they've recognized in that team, though, throughout the last 15, 20 years, Kevin Martin is not even arguably, but totally has been the best skip in the game.
Yeah.
You know, their whole goal with that team is get to the Olympics.
1,
Kevin's
2.
been there 2 times already.
Which one you throwing?
2000, 2010, actually 3 times if
3
you
times,
include
once as a
Alberta.
trial
Yeah,
sport,
absolutely. So he knows that whole
1,
Olympic
2.
process. Is that an option that they could use? Absolutely. I mean, Dave's been there, done that, like we were just talking about.
It's a great option to have with Kevin having his bad back. He really tightened up, for those who don't know, and he had to pull himself out of a spiel in Saskatoon a few weeks ago. And David skipped in the
Easy.
final. They lost to
Just over.
Stouty and at Readerama.
Oh.
But it's nice to have that option to have a second skip on the team. But really, Kevin Martin, at the end of the day, when it comes to the Olympic trials process, he is money in the bank. He has been for years. He's a little advanced in age. I spent a lot of time talking to Kevin today. He says he's still sore and everything, but he's working on it. He's very committed to the fitness, and I think he'll be there in the end. And there's no way. Kevin's he's never thrown anything but skip rocks. I don't think he'd be a very effective third. So.
And you think if you compare their skill set to each other, with Kevin having, you talked about Kevin having that hard one, and David's prowess being that soft weight shot, what would your argument be for third versus last stones with that skill set?
I mean, I think it's more important at third probably to throw the big weight. Nice try on the tick attempt, just over curled there. I think it's more important to have a third who can throw the high hard one. But that being said, David, he can still throw it. He's just not. That's not his forte, right? It's no different than Kevin has actually become a better draw player now than he is a hitter. But I'm not going to go out and challenge Kevin Martin to throw hits up and down the ice. I mean, he's still one of the best hitters in the world.
He beat you.
Narrowly. I mean, if I had a bad day, but.
Yep. Hard line.
John Cullen of
Hard
Cullen
line.
and the Comic throwing his second center guard here in the
Just
final
over.
end.
It's picking.
What could be the final end? I'll give him the benefit
Make sure
of
it's
the doubt
over.
here.
Got to be over. Got to be
Rich
over.
Sawaski called for the
Gotta be
tick
over.
shot,
Whoa.
but missed it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So
I'll call this one better.
I'll call this one
yeah.
better,
Stay
Johnny.
away.
Johnny taking ownership over that miss for Rick,
Self-abuse.
which is
That's
great.
what guys from Laurier do, I find. Paul?
Rick Sawaski with the outturn tick shots and made famous by
Stevie Gould.
Stevie Gould and Lisa
Yep.
Weagle.
Yeah, more so by Lisa.
Taking the female crown last year, making it look so
Ty.
easy.
Most
Case,
fun
Ty,
about
all
Lisa's
you.
tick shots, where, to be honest, is probably watching Allison Kerviasic sweep them. you know.
Dean Joanisse on the full sweep. Can he get it to the boards? Can he get to the boards? And it does not go to the boards.
Boy, spot, beauty.
That is a just perfect shot by Rich Swaski. Trying to do my best Vic Router impersonation there. And that is
It's easier to do if you're wearing a bad blazer.
Fantastic. Vic Router, a longtime broadcaster with TSN, but also a curler.
Vic's ex-wife and I used to play mixed together, Deb Router. She was a long-time curler in the ladies scene. Played with Allison Goring for a few
Line's
years.
good.
Vic's been great for the game.
Line's good.
He really plays his role well in the booth. He's done a great job over the years.
Clean for line. Line's great.
Nice looking come around here. Might
Yep,
be a little
yep,
too
yep,
too
yep,
little
yep,
too
yep,
late,
yep,
but
yep,
you never
yep,
know.
yep.
Crazy things have happened.
Real good ball finish.
Right.
So great shot behind that center guard. Slight bit deep, but they really don't care about how deep it is right now. They just want to get rocks in play behind that. Johnny taking no time to call for this peel for Tyrell Griffith, surprisingly enough. Tyrell probably throwing 65% peels in this game, just getting rid of guards.
I think how deep it is can be overrated.
Tyrell gonna bang both those rocks off the side.
And that's probably more important, in my experience, which is limited.
And Paul Cheka being asked to just replace that center guard.
Here on out, it's going to be a bunch of guards and a bunch of peels, and Team Joanisse really needs at least a half-shot miss out of Morris, or they're in a lot of trouble.
And another half shot and another half shot. They need to steal 2 here.
Easy.
Which is more than one.
Just bite center.
Just bringing
Just
Pete
bite
back
center.
into this game.
You know, I haven't found the game overly interesting, I gotta say.
So Paul Cheka with a 4-4 center guard. Congratulations. And Johnny going back up there. Another peel for Tyrell Griffith. Tyrell.
Be good if they win this game. Maybe we can get a live interview with Johnny down on the patch there. We'll take the cell phone down there, tape something up there for YouTube.
Great throw. Tyrell's had a great game.
Yeah, he has. He has not missed. He's had to throw quite a few of them, but he has not missed too many of those peels. Actually made a double peel last time where he got robbed. The shooter was rolling out of play and it picked to stay in play. Other than that, he's had a pretty clean game.
Probably the one
The biggest difference in this game has probably been, not to pick on somebody, but I'm going to the fourth thrower for Joanisse. He's come up with a couple of key misses. Had a chance to maybe score 2 in the second end, and he almost fanned it and just rolled out. And then he had a really great attempt last end, but it was in 6 for 2. And just overthrow, gave up that key steal of 1, and not an easy shot, but one he probably at his level expects to make, and he's probably been the difference in this game tonight, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Pete. I think they would too. You know, when they sit back and look at that game, they got to figure out how to win more games here. Unfortunately, with this potential loss, Team Joanisse is going to be on the C side, so their last leg. That's not to say you can't qualify through the C. There will be a couple qualifiers, 4 of them coming out. There are actually maybe even 2 here, being a 24-team draw.
Thanks.
But I mean, they got
Pretty much the only thing we.
Yeah, for sure they do, and there might be a couple soft games to get them going. They've had a tough draw. I mean, to play Laycock in the first round and then to grab Johnny Mole in the second round is not easy.
Yes, there's only 2 Seaside qualifiers.
Good.
So it is a hard.
And you get the likes of Ness, Kim, and Gerdung already down there, so it's not going to be easy.
Right on the T line, eh?
So Team Morris just doing what they do in this end and peeling out the center guard.
Don't want to run into those guys early.
I don't even know who's throwing. Dean Joanisse with his last rock here, I believe. Yes, it is. So again, Paul Webster and Pete Stetsky here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic here in Brooks, Alberta. Our last draw of the day here, but we will be back with you tomorrow. A big shout out to curlingzone.com and Jerry Gertz and setting this up, but also to Dan. We honestly we've laughed about it. We haven't asked him his last name, but it's just Dan.
Yeah, we don't need Dan's last
but
name.
if you want to check out his website, southernalberta.com, but you don't have to.
We don't need Dan as part of the lawsuit.
So
He's gonna be
Dan's been great on
witness.
the.
Slide about the same, Harry.
Dan's been great on the cameras. The learning curve is fairly plateaued.
Can we take less ice?
But he's enjoying the humor too, and thankfully he doesn't dislike us that much.
Wow, we just got a very critical tweet here from Team Lecoq. As long as there's no space between La and Cock, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't misspell the name.
Room.
I don't know if you should be signing up for tour events anymore, but that's up to you.
Room. Paul's Rock.
You know, typically if you can't finish 5
Paul's
ends of a game out of the 3
T-line.
in a triple
T-line.
knockout, you should probably move on to a new sport there, Mark. But that's
So you mentioned one of Mark's former teammates, Russ Howard. Russ recently getting inducted into the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame.
yes,
And we want to make sure we recognize that. Russ, one of the all-time greats of the sport. Now
much deserved, much deserved.
Hugely.
I was never a huge fan of Russ growing up. In fact, I hated him. And he knows
I think
that,
we're just
but I have since made amends, and Russ is an all-time great. He's doing a great job for TSN broadcasting, Olympic champion, Brier champion. He's given a lot back to the sport, and it was much deserved, and very happy to see that for Russ. That was just this week, right?
Yeah, just last week actually,
Yeah.
in Calgary. And it's really cool to see another curling person get in there. And Russ, really the resume is unparalleled in our sport. Whether you compare it to Brier or Worlds, whatever, most Brier wins for the longest time, and just you mentioned his job on TSN. Everyone's wondering how good a job he's going to do, and it's just I love listening to him now on TSN.
He's got a great sense of humor. People don't know that about Russ. He's really doing a good job. So shout out to Russ.
Go Russ Howard.
The double. He hits and rolls out. Or we hit and
Kathy,
roll out.
we're
He's
looking
gotta
for
draw
your
the
job
zone.
on the morning crew, though.
My theory is that we come around the corner.
Paul's not
again,
allowed
That
to say
would
that.
be a
and we
great
hope he leaves us a double.
Yeah, you know what? I think Mudrik and I would do an excellent job there. I mean, you can't do it. You're a little too busy with your other jobs.
I would quit them.
Yeah, then we just go.
Yes, I would
Maybe we'll
just-
talk to Brian, see what he's up to.
Yeah, as
Pete
long as our
Stetsky,
freeze-
TSN broadcaster,
If it's
possibly,
not,
but
then,
now just home
he
to
can hit lay two
at
kind of thing, right? So it's
curlingzone.com.
Just
6 to
happy
1
to
half
give a
doesn't
little
matter.
back to the game, Paul. A little back to the game. Game that's helped me so
Yeah,
much
but
in my
there's
life,
not much-
mostly
he doesn't-
off the
rock's
ice.
in the middle of the house, though. He can't hide very far.
So
He's
let's
gotta
let's
equal
go
size
back
to
while
his line.
Team Joanisse is evaluating how they
Well,
try
what
to
do you
win
like?
this game. Well, the A-side possible qualifiers tomorrow at 12 p.m. here in Brooks, Alberta. We got Team Fowler versus Team Michelle out of Switzerland. Team Eden from Sweden versus Team Laycock. And Team McEwen versus Team Louis from
Okay,
China.
I'm doing the pick 3 there. We got McEwen,
If we freeze, does he have access to our other one?
and you know what? I liked
you
what
know
I
the
saw out of
Inter-
that
I think
Fowler
the Inter
team
pass
today. I
fine,
think
too.
they're going to qualify
Slots
A-side as
on
well.
Interesting twist to all those A-side
here.
qualifiers is it's one of their top
Like
Canadian
Slots
teams
is
versus the
really
top
well. I would say it's
international
probably
team.
two
So there
quicker
could
than
be
the-
possibly 3 international teams qualify or 3 Canadian teams qualify for
Somewhere
the
in between,
playoffs.
yeah.
The nice benefit of qualifying A-side here in Brooks, and it does happen
just do
quickly in a 3
whatever. I
qualifier
think if
A-side
you have both-
Lonsfield,
if you have either
is
one.
that you can go to the Patricia Hotel.
Legendary.
Some of the it is actually. I've
Legendary,
never
yeah,
had a chance to
absolutely.
go, but Patricia Hotel, nearby Patricia, Alberta.
We'll freeze.
You
Have
grab
a
your own
blast.
meat from the cooler,
Makes a
cook it
perfect
out on the
turnaround on the
barbecue, and
joggers.
I've heard it's probably one of the best steaks you're ever going to have. I
You
would
can have
argue.
bison. You can cook the whole 9 yards there. It's a great.
You got to
venue.
chase the bison down, though.
Yeah.
Line's
Yes.
pretty good.
Oh, I got a
Line's
great
good.
to comment on that. What we used to call that game.
It's curling. Curling. Hard. Hard.
Michael Johnson's
Hard.
first,
He's
I
on line,
believe,
hard.
although we have been evaluating, looking for the freeze, trying to generate some sort of miss out of Team Morse, but they're
Nope,
recognizing that the opportunities here are getting
Well,
less and
that's,
less.
you can wait for me
I
to
won't
call
jump.
that, though, right, on those? You can wait for me to call a switch on those. Like,
What you
Paul,
can
you're
do
fairly
is
active on
you
Twitter. Do
throw
you
it,
not feel one of the
throw peel,
lowest forms of
because you
tweeting is
might get
to
into
comment
that
on
right
one's
there. Okay.
spelling or
Intern, I
punctuation?
guess, eh?
When it comes down to that, you really are showing you have nothing else to say of
nice
value.
weight, jeans.
You can say yes.
The thing about Twitter is you only have 40 characters to do what you need to do. So
140.
sometimes-
See if I want it
140?
correct. Yeah, it's
so
140,
I thought
yeah.
it was 40, so I was always sending out quick sentences.
Yeah.
And
You do everything fairly quick from what I hear, Paul.
yes,
but-
I do. Yes, I do.
Crystal.
So I would have to agree with you, Pete.
Yeah.
You know what? With in something where punctuation and spacing and spelling is not, it's actually
You gotta tighten
encouraged
it
to
up.
be quick.
Yeah,
and
you gotta tighten it up.
So actually, you know, I put no spaces in between Pete.
No, it's all there.
Just P-E-T-E.
Oh,
Intern heat here from Jimmy Cotter, looking to lose everything.
Hair.
Boom,
Beauty.
there it is. Great
Look at
shot.
that. Great shot by Jimmy.
Shot. Rocks flying everywhere.
At this point in
Oh,
time,
Jimmy,
if your
beauty
team
shot.
Joanisse, you're hoping for a pick.
You kind of have to.
That should be exposed.
You shouldn't cheer for it outwardly, but inside your head, you probably have to hope for that.
Beauty.
So last chance for Team Joanisse. They can lie two here, which is I mean, what they've been trying to do. They're hoping it wasn't in the full 12 foot, but that's going to be the reality of their game. And Jimmy Cotter going to have an open draw to the 8 foot or an open hit to win this game.
Yeah, I think he's going to go with a hit. We just want to give a shout out to those in the patch, let you know we're going to be down there very briefly, and we do accept free beverages.
Hard. Hard. Really hard.
Brooks, Alberta, doing a great job organizing this event. The patch is they turn one of the utilitarian rooms here. It looks like a gymnasium into a massive patch with a stage and bring in acts and singing acts and so on. It's one of the best areas to have a party here in the tour. And again, one of those situations for some of the smaller communities out there. If you ever want to run an event or begin an event, Brooks, Alberta is a great roadmap to follow. Jim Cotter, fourth rock thrower for Team Morris, looking to finish off this end. Just making a yellow rock go away for the win and continue their life on the B side here in the Cactus Pheasant Classic. Last rock here in the 8th end.
The drama's is, you can
I'm
hardly
trying to
hear
build
a
it
pin
up, Pete.
drop in
Stop
here.
talking.
It's huge. It's huge.
Last rock here
Clean,
in the 8th end.
clean, clean.
Clean, clean, clean.
Just
And congratulations to Team Morris. They have won this game against Team Joanisse.
What a barn burner of a
Moving
finish
on
there.
in the B side is
The-
Team Morris from Vernon, British
The
Columbia,
hit and roll out for the win. You don't see that every day.
here in
Nice
Brooks,
game, nice
Alberta.
scoring. Yeah, good luck.
On behalf of CurlingZone.com, Pete Stetsky and myself, I'm Paul Webster. Tune in tomorrow. We'll get 3 draws for you tomorrow. Thanks again to Dan and Jerry Gertz for behind-the-scenes work. Have a
God
great
bless
night.
us all. We'll see you in the patch.